It is so wild to me that even with all the new fame, money, television viewership, sold out arenas, increase in merch sales, all of this media attention that is now on the WNBA, the most that they have ever seen in years, there are still women within the WNBA who have so much to complain about. What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel DeMita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. Today's video will most likely turn into, once again, another rant video, but with all the drama surrounding the Sheryl Swoopes controversy and how she was getting into it with Stephen A. Smith, I happened to come across a clip from a Twitter Spaces of another media personality who went on there to initially stand up for Sheryl Swoopes and speak out against Stephen A. Smith, and in that same light, shaded Caitlin Clark and the Fever organization and the coach, and then had so much to complain and say about the way the WNBA is marketed now. I'm just gonna let you guys listen to this. So this woman's name is Cindy Brunson. From my understanding, she is some sort of media voice for the Phoenix Mercury. I honestly have never heard of this woman until today, until I heard this audio clip. And I'm honest to God only using this clip not to give her any notoriety, but to shed light on some more of the old heads in the WNBA who still can't seem to get with it and continue to just spread negativity across the league and also seem to never be happy about anything. So I'm just gonna let you listen to this.
So the fact that Stephen A. is using my sister Sheryl Swoopes for clicks and likes is horrifying. And I implore everybody that can hear my voice to push back on Stephen A. and say, why won't you have Sheryl on? Why won't you have Monica McNutt back? Because they called him out.
So before this, she talked about how before this season in the WNBA, Stephen A. Smith never talked about the WNBA. And even whenever Minnesota won the title, Stephen A. Smith didn't know any of the players on that team. And so she was just mortified about that Stephen A. wasn't keeping up with the WNBA, yet now Stephen A. talks about the WNBA quite frequently, like a lot of us do. Continuing on.
He just doesn't want to face the truth. And he wants to line up in the narrative behind everybody else that Caitlin Clark came down the mountain with tablets in her hand to save the WNBA. Here's a news flash. The W didn't need saving. It just needed promotion. The product has never been the problem. It has always been the promotion. And part of the problem comes from the fact that Stephen A. Smith makes more money than God. So when it came to like showing games at different times of the day and getting advertisers to line up, they had to pay Stephen before they could do right by the WNBA at ESPN, which is why ESPN lost out on this new multi-billion-dollar deal that involves 3 different platforms outside of ESPN. I just wanted to get that off my chest. And I'd also like to say, let's press the Indiana organization. If Caitlin isn't going to do the right thing, I think General Manager Lynn Dunn, Head Coach Stephanie White, Christy Sides, other folks in that organization need to push back on the vitriol that is aimed particularly at Black women and LGBTQI plus women that make up the majority of the league.
Stuff like this upsets me so much for a myriad of reasons. To say that the WNBA, that the product was never the problem, the promotion was, is literally saying, you know when they say when you're dating a guy and they're like, if he wanted to, he would. Well, if the WNBA wanted to, then why didn't they? If that was the only problem, why didn't they fix the problem? When Caitlin Clark came into this league, that was the free promotion for the entire league. And I'm sorry, the product has something to do with it. Caitlin Clark is the most exciting women's basketball player that we have ever seen. Caitlin Clark has bridged the gap from the hardcore basketball fans who have been watching the WNBA for years. She has bridged that gap into the casual fan, a market that the WNBA has never been able to tap into. The casual fan watches the NBA. Do you know why the casual fan watches the NBA? Because the men are 10 times more athletic than the women. It's a lot quicker game. They play above the rim. They, at the time, were shooting three-pointers from further back. They are breaking ankles. They are dunking. They are blocking shots against the backboard. That, to the general public, to a casual viewer, is more exciting than watching a fundamental basketball game, which was the women's game. I am saying all of this, you guys, as a basketball player who was on a full ride Division I scholarship to play in college. I played a very fundamental game because I am not that athletic. Yet we have a player like Caitlin Clark who comes around, who shoots three-pointers further back than Steph Curry, and she's been doing it for 4 years in college. That is a product. That is a product that she brought to the WNBA that is all of a sudden exciting for many people. And most specifically, the casual fan. That's who you need more of. You're not going to have this niche market of hardcore basketball fans who like to watch a fundamental game and can appreciate the women's game how it has been. And like I said in my last video, there is an old school style of basketball that the WNBA has been playing for years. A half-court set, 2 down, 3 out, pick and roll, pound the ball down into the post, 1 drop step to the bucket. That, to a lot of people, is not that exciting. An NBA game is a lot quicker, the guys are more athletic, and that is not a knock against these women saying that they are not great basketball players, because they are. However, biology-wise, men are more athletic, they are quicker, stronger, faster, they can jump higher, and there's a lot more dunks, ankle breaks, those types of things in a game that make it more exciting. So I'm going to rebuke the fact that she said that the product wasn't there. I have to disagree. People are watching Caitlin Clark. That's why the viewership for the games that she is in are double or triple the games that she's not in. And we just can't keep denying the facts. There was in no way that when Tiger Woods came into golf, when Simone Biles came into gymnastics, that we were begging people to appreciate the product of other golfers or other gymnasts, or let's talk about Venus and Serena. Well, you didn't appreciate the product of the other tennis players. Well, no, you know what? Serena is more exciting than all of them. So is Caitlin. I don't understand why people can't just acknowledge that. What does it hurt for you to acknowledge that this woman has changed the game, is one of the most famous athletes in the entire world, has given you free promotion that supposedly is all you needed, right? You've gotten free promotion, billions of dollars worth of free promotion from one player. It's so insane to say. And then to knock Stephen A because his salary is high. I don't agree with everything Stephen A says, but that man, one thing that you can't deny is he works his butt off. That man is on television nearly 12 hours a day, plus he has his own show, plus he's on social media, plus he's going to this game, going to that game, and you want to knock him because ESPN decides to pay him millions of dollars so that they can't afford the WNBA? Is this like, now you're talking about the WNBA as it's a charity case? Is that what you want it to be? Now that Caitlin Clark is here, you have this free promotion and you have this elevated product because Caitlin Clark's game is exciting to watch. I'm going to argue this point until I'm blue in the face. You have all of this. And now because of that, you have more eyeballs on the WNBA. More casual fans, more hardcore fans are tuning in. And you know what? Every single team that Caitlin Clark goes up against, people are watching all the other women on that team. And you know what comes with the casual fan, or you know what comes with any basketball fan, any sports fan in general? People have preferences on what players they gravitate toward. Me being somebody who was always a three-point shooter, some of my favorite players have always been people who are three-point shooters. I've never been like a huge fan of some post player. However, there's probably a girl in the 8th grade who was the tallest one in her class, and she relates most to Asia Wilson, or she relates most to Angel Reese because they're taller, or she relates most to Camila Cordosa. Maybe there's somebody else who likes the way that they dress. But you know what? They have the opportunity to find new stars that they look up to, that they want to root for, because Caitlin Clark has set all these eyeballs on the league. It's common sense to me, and the fact that there are still women who work with the WNBA complaining about that, complaining that Stephen A is now talking about the WNBA and he didn't that much in the past, so now he doesn't have a right to talk about them because he wasn't talking about them before. What do you want him to stop? Do you know what that's like to tell the new media people who are finally invested, this is what the people in the WNBA have been begging for years is that more people get invested. And then once people who are invested, no, you're not doing it the proper way. You're not doing it right. So it's disrespectful. You don't even know who this player is on this team. How can you talk about the WNBA? Like I'm sorry, that's insane. That's nuts. Do you think the people were saying that about, again, I'm going to go back to Tiger Woods or about Serena? Oh, you weren't covering tennis before. You weren't talking about Anna Kournikova when she was playing. Why weren't you talking about her? They wouldn't say that. So the fact that it's coming down on Caitlin Clark is, again, goes back to what I was saying in my last video. The women in the WNBA, the old heads, the ones who are petty, the ones who are jealous, the ones who can't get on the new wave is what is continuing to hold the league back. Charles Barkley just came out this week and said that they've fumbled Caitlin Clark in like the worst way that they possibly could. They've handled the Caitlin Clark situation in the worst way that they possibly could. And I kind of agree with him. And then there's a bunch of people complaining, oh, this is like a tired narrative. No, when people continue to go online and people in the media and people who work closely with WNBA teams continue to go online and say things like the audio I just shared with you, they're continuing that narrative. Getting to the next point, how she said that since Caitlin Clark is unwilling to do the right thing by speaking out against her fans, so if she's not going to do it, the GM needs to do it or the coach needs to do it. What is Caitlin Clark doing to set off any of this negativity? Caitlin Clark goes to work every day and plays basketball well. And she stays off of social media. She's not subtweeting. She's not doing all this. She's not doing any extracurricular things. And people are still involving her in drama that has nothing to do with her. And I'm sorry, but the amount of trolls online that are saying nasty things to certain women in the league and are saying things that cross the line and that are vulgar and ridiculous, those aren't actual Caitlin Clark fans. Those are people who want to come online and spread hate. And on top of that, earlier on in the season, Caitlin was asked about this and she denounced it. She said she doesn't want hate to be spread using her name. And she also reiterated that's why she stays off social media. Her job is to play basketball and that's where she shows up every single day. So that's why I think it's so problematic that we continue to see people who are part of the media who work so closely within the WNBA to continue to go online and, whether it's overtly or not, continue to throw shade on the one person who you talked about her like she was God. We didn't need saving. She walked down the hill with tablets, which is also low-key disrespectful. To bring her down and complain that she's the reason for the WNBA's success when all anybody's ever wanted is for the WNBA to be successful. Now you got it, but since it's not the way that you wanted it to be, because people aren't appreciating a fundamental basketball game, and you weren't getting enough promotion, and it just happened to come from 1, 2, 3 new players in this rookie class, now you're upset about it. That's crazy to me. I think why this stuff also upsets me is because when I was growing up, my goal was to get a full ride Division I scholarship to play in college. And I did that for basketball. I never wanted to play past college. And you know why I didn't want to play past college? Because I didn't see a future in the WNBA. We used to go to Cleveland Rockers games when I was a kid. We sat courtside. The tickets were so cheap. The arenas were never full. I saw that there was less people in the stands of these WNBA games than there were at my high school games. Why would I want to continue playing basketball there and then have to work a second job during my off season? Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Rakia Jackson, Cameron Brink, Paige Beckers, Juju Watkins, they are providing girls like me in this current day a bright future when it comes to playing professional basketball. Now there are girls in middle school and high school who could make money in college when we never could, who then, if they want to play after, they could get a high paying salary, plus brand deals, plus now millions of people tuning into their games, plus packed out arenas because of specifically one player. That's a dream. Like, these women in the next 5 to 10 years are gonna be making millions of dollars on their salaries if you let the WNBA grow. Like, this is such an exciting and cool time in women's basketball that we've never had before. The WNBA literally hit the lottery. You couldn't plan this any other way. And now because of this, you just want to complain? It's crazy. You want to complain that it's too much press on her that we're only focusing on one player. Embrace all of it. Like, not only for the women that are in the league right now, but for girls who are coming up and playing sports. Woo! All right, you guys, and with that, I've talked for far too long and the sun is setting behind me, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, and of course, click that little subscribe button because I upload new videos every single week. And hopefully, we can talk about some more lighthearted and uplifting content next week. I'm so over this drama, and hopefully this rant just like put a button, close the book. Let's everybody like be positive and grateful and not petty and jealous, okay? That's my message of the day. Don't be petty and jealous. Be great. All right, anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Uina.